Hello and welcome. I am Paige the Mage, and today I was thinking of talking about how I started with YouTube, what gave me the idea of becoming a streamer, and most importantly, how it actually scares me, like a lot, like really bad. On top of the already anxiety that I have related to recording, that's also a thing that is great. Anyway, despite the fact that I've only started streaming a year ago and I've only started posting, this is my second video, I've actually been on the platform quite some time as a viewer and a long time ago as a content creator. Basically, a long time ago, I watched AMVs and I kind of liked them. And they started my love for rock music, but at the same time I didn't. I was thinking I could do a better job than this. So that's exactly what I tried to do a better job. Unfortunately, I had Windows Movie Maker and they probably had something more complicated. Probably at the time Sony Vegas, because it was fancy at the time. Now it's I think immediately above Windows Movie Maker, which is very funny to me. I actually do not know at the moment which is the most, best editing software. I just pick one that looked easy to use, as I kind of forgot how to edit, which is very ironic because the first thing I learned to do was just editing. That is A and B making, just pure editing and nothing else. And that was what I was doing. I was just doing AMVs, and weirdly enough, I got quite good. Once I started to branch out from the anime that I started to something more popular, I actually saw, surprisingly, in retrospect at least, a lot of success. I still have that video on another channel which has 10k views, which honestly, for a kid, was huge. I can't help but to think, what would have happened if I actually continue doing it? Because eventually I stopped making videos. This was at a time where copyright claims started to happen because monetization started to happen, and basically I got spooked. Now I was very incredibly poor at the time, so because of that I couldn't actually afford anything in terms of anime or music or stuff like that. Music didn't even matter, because even if I had it, I still wouldn't be allowed to use it, because you have to actually buy the trademark, something that I didn't know. And that fair use was a thing. I'm not sure if fair use was a thing at the time, but basically I got a few claims and I started getting spooked because I was using pirated stuff and I thought that was illegal. So I thought, you know what, I should stop. I contemplated for a good while to do something else, anything else, other types of content. I had no idea at the time how to do gaming, how to basically do gaming streams and stuff like that. I'm not sure OBS was a thing back then, and even if it was, my computer for sure, absolutely guaranteed, would not have been able to actually do it. So all things considered, yeah, it was not a thing I could do. So I gave up on the idea, and later on something bad happened that I don't really want to talk about. Basically put me off watching YouTube or any videos I don't know about for quite some time. I gotta point out that at the time it was pretty lawless wasteland. Anything could have been posted on there, and that's both good and bad. But basically, I had a really big gap before returning to YouTube and starting watching again, slowly getting my confidence back. And a while back, 2-3 years ago, I actually discovered that with the advent of technology, I was able to make my own VTuber model. I did the drawing and my friend did the rigging. And now the options to actually do content again appeared on the horizon. There was only one little issue getting in the way. The fact that I have a type of stage track or some sort of weird anxiety. It is very hard to understand it, basically, because I looked it up and I couldn't find anything. I do not know what this would be called, but basically it is very hard for me to record myself. very, very, very hard. I had to struggle very much, and there's always a chance that I won't be able to make it, basically. And because of this, well, yeah. But I could do streaming. I was ambitious and I started small. I started with a friend to help me like boost my... Because for some reason, it worked if I wasn't alone. Even now, if I am not alone, if I'm recording with someone, I wouldn't have any issues. It's me by myself that is an issue, but I am slowly starting to overcome that, and it's all thanks to streaming that I managed to do this way. Anyway, back to YouTube, where I started streaming. Despite me starting streaming, yeah, it didn't go very well. I heard before that streaming on YouTube is basically not a thing, and you're better off just, I don't know, watching paint dry or glue your feet to the ceiling. But I didn't. I thought I could do it, you know. I thought I'm gonna be the one. They'll see. I'm gonna do it. Unfortunately, I didn't do it. No matter how hard I tried or how many subscribers I got, it was never, people were never watching my content. I would watch the analytics and see that most people would not watch past the first, like, you know, like 5 minutes or so. They just, you know, like, wouldn't. And I thought, what would the point be? So after, I don't know, 7-8 months of trying, I decided to give up and basically switch to Twitch and VStream and just give up on video making for the time being. I had some other ideas of making videos, but I realized that as long as I don't overcome this, I will never actually be able to do anything. I had to overcome this hurdle. And that is what you're hearing right now. Me struggling to get past my weird, unexplainable anxiety. So that was with streaming, and that completes the circle where we are right now in what scares me about YouTube. You see, I do want to be a content creator, like for real, and I'm struggling so hard to, you know, like overcome my issues to become one. But my, you know, like running with the algorithm has already kind of put me off, so to say. I'm still gonna do it, without a shadow of a doubt. At the very least to overcome this, but it still bothers me the way algorithm works. To the point, like, I don't like the idea. When I heard that VStream was actually planning on adding their own algorithm, I was like, it sounded so good until you mentioned the algorithm. I don't know about that. I wish you wouldn't. But of course, I'm not gonna tell them how to run their own site. Obviously, they do what they want, and I respect that. There's always a door if I don't like it. But basically, nobody actually really knows how the algorithm works. They just don't. Even if they pretend they do, they don't. A YouTuber, well, they didn't actually try to explain to me. I watched the video. The video tried to explain to me how the algorithm works. But I feel like that is just scratching the surface of what it actually does. Because basically the idea is someone watches a video and then they recommend the channel to other people who also watch the video. Like, for example, let's say watch MK, for example. Well, if I watch MK and I watch this channel, for example, then they'll recommend this channel to other people who watch MK on the principle, if you like this, then maybe you like that as well. That is generally how it's supposed to work, but apparently it struggles to realize for the beginning what are you actually doing. After a while of realizing what you are actually doing, what type of content you do, that is when this rule starts to apply. Up until then, you're just struggling to convince the algorithm this is what I'm doing and try to make it, you know, steer it in the right direction. But how does that work? I had no idea. Because I tried to get people in the gaming sphere interested in me with my streams. It didn't work. Probably because YouTube hates streams. I don't know why they have the feature to begin with if they so thoroughly ignore it. But basically, yeah, YouTube and streaming are not a thing. So maybe that was it. Maybe if I made gaming content that was heavily edited, maybe it'll work. I have no idea. But being back on the algorithm grind is not something I look forward to. Overcoming my fears and making good content that I feel proud of, that is what I'm looking forward to. But for the moment, I'm just gonna close my eyes and ignore the statistic that I don't understand anyway as much as possible. About tutorial, you know, because on YouTube you have like those, you want to become a YouTuber, you have to do these things. They're useless for the most part. I've only ever saw one video that was really useful. Most of the advice boils down to make a catchy title and a unique looking thumbnail. Fair enough. But the problem is that that's very abstract advice. Like very abstract. Like that could mean anything. What exactly, how exactly should you make your titles, and how should that apply to what type of content you do? Because if I am doing a what scares me about YouTube video, I can't do top 10 things that scare me about YouTube. Though probably I could, but it's not the type of content I want. And it's like all of these catchy titles, how I overcome YouTube or whatever, and questions like that, they don't always work. And I've seen plenty of YouTubers who don't actually do this and have success. So at the end of the day, what's really the solution? Nobody actually knows. You see, these videos don't actually lie to you. They are how to make videos, and they're telling you how it worked for them because they make how to make videos. If you were to make how to make videos too, it would be useful to you too. But if you're not, well, good luck having an animation and having it to title how I animate this kid's story or stuff like that, whatever the suggestion is. Or, you know, like doing a sketch. And I can't imagine how you would title it with those, you know, catchy titles. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing. That's also an option, but basically those videos do not help. Reddit also does not help. Do not look for Reddit, especially the subreddit like new YouTubers. It's just, yeah, no, you're gonna get depression. It's just gonna get depression. Yeah, that is not good. No, don't do that. You're better off just getting a depression and not go away, just looking at the housing market and realizing you'll never be able to afford a house. That's how I do it. But back to YouTube. The only thing you can do realistically, the only thing I can do realistic is just experiment. Experiment and try out and experiment again and try to find a type of content that you won't get bored of. Like talking about shit. You'll never get bored talking about shit. That makes sense, right? Another thing with YouTube is the never-ending rumors about how YouTube is basically going down and stuff, and they scare me because like I'm trying to invest in this the long term. Like I want to start out small and kind of evolve my content over time so that people can be like, oh look, this was the type of content she was doing, like look at the type of content now, look how far she's gone and stuff like that. Or maybe you will be like, why aren't you making the old content? I see that happening to other YouTubers where basically they became known for one single thing and now they're never able to do anything else ever, just that one thing. Every time they're trying to do something else, everyone will be like, when are you going to do the original stuff again? That is what I want to see. Come on, do the thing again. You know, it just feels like literally a one-trick pony. Just do the trick, and yeah, I don't like that. But basically that is an option that may happen. Hopefully not. But the rumors are just like YouTube is going down and YouTube is losing and YouTube is, you know, like not what it was and blah, blah. I don't like that. I mean, it makes sense I don't like that, and at the same time people might be able to say, you know, like you're just, you know, making excuses and stuff. You just man up and you know, like face it. YouTube is not as good as it used to be and blah 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 and blah blah. And yeah, that scares me. The algorithm scares me. The idea that I could, you know, like end up in a scandal by just saying something that people might take out of context or I properly didn't explain. that scares me as well. But I still want to do it. Despite all of this, I still want to do it because that is just what I want to do. I set this in stone like a while back that I want to do this. I'm just happy that I found a way to return to what I was doing, to return to what I like to do. Now, this video would be kind of short compared to what I wanted it to be, mostly because it's hard for me at the moment to stretch out the subjects. Like, not stretch it out, that doesn't sound well. That sounds like I'm, like trying to, like put more than I want to say. But basically, I want to be able to elaborate more and say more about a subject than what it is. I guess the upcoming videos will just me complaining about my issues, which is maybe something that some people might want to hear. Among the things that I heard was like people like negative things. Like they want to hear you complain about this and that. Well, you've come to the right place then. Because at the moment, the best thing that can elicit that kind of energy out of me, that will make me talk for as long as possible, is actually complaining about stuff. Complaining about YouTube and the algorithm, and complaining about things that I fear, and complaining about other people that are complaining and stuff like that. Now, at the end, I would really appreciate it if you would give a comment. I'm not gonna ask about a like. I'm not gonna say, oh, subscribe if you want more. I'm just gonna say, just leave me a comment if you got this far. Tell me, oh, I've gotten this far. Or tell me, oh, your video sucks. I had a previous recording that I had to scrap because there was a bunch of fireworks. Like from the beginning until the end, to the point that even my dog barked at them. It was all a mess. It was all the messes of mess. So I had to scratch that. And the problem with that is that it takes a lot of energy out of me to redo this. So I really did not want to do this. I didn't want to redo it, but I had to. So yeah, that's this. So thank you all for watching. Do consider leaving that comment that I talked about, and consider watching some more. I already have another video that you could watch. Probably the only other video I have for now. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.